guys, welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be something I've never done before. I'm going to be doing my first ever brow tutorial. I do my brows different almost every single time that I do my eyebrows. Well, the shape is always different, I should say. I usually use the same products or similar products. A mix of powders and a pencil. I also use soap sometimes. If you want to know what the soap is for, keep on watching. I sometimes use different products. I have this little thing here. This is mostly my brow stuff. So I have a couple different things in here that I like to use, as well as here. Typically, I like to use the Smashbox Trio here. Photo Op eyeshadow trio. It's supposed to be an eyeshadow. I don't use it for eyeshadow. So I prefer to use powder and then also a pencil as well. The one that I started out learning with was the Anastasia Brow Definer. The Brow Definer, it's got two ends. This one here with like a little brush on it, and then this one here. So this is what it looks like. It's kind of like a triangular shape. I love this pencil, but I prefer the Brow Wiz because it's got a sharper point. It's just a little pencil. And this is the one that I used today, and I really love this one. So I prefer to use a pencil on the tail of my eyebrow and then a powder for pretty much the rest of it. And then sometimes I'll just take the pencil and kind of work my way through just to make sure that there's no color differences with the powder to the pencil. And then most of the time I'll use my clear soap. You can get any clear soap that you want. It doesn't have to be this one, but this is at the dollar store, or I believe it's at IDA or something like that. So this Pears clear soap. It doesn't smell the best. I don't know what it smells like, but it doesn't smell really good. Anyway, you just wet the end of a spoolie. I use this dollar one that it's fake Anastasia one that I got off eBay. I just use this one because I don't want to ruin any of my good ones. So I keep this aside and I just wet this and then rub it into the soap and apply it, and it works so good, and the brows don't move. So far I haven't found a brow gel that works as well as soap does. And the soap is so far the cheapest as well. I've tried this one here by Essence. It's called the Make Me Brow Eyebrow Gel Mascara. And I actually really like it, but it doesn't have a really great hold. It holds, but not the best. I've also tried this City Color Collection brow gel. I got it from Winners for like $1 or something like that. So you know it's cheap. It does not work very well. And I've also tried the Benefit Gimme Brow. It is just a little sample, so I really want to get the full size of this. It does work really well. I have like almost no brow hairs on the beginning of this brow. It is ridiculous. I overplucked when I was younger, and I shouldn't have. I ruined my eyebrows. Do not overpluck. The brow brush that I use is by Anastasia Beverly Hills. It is number 12. It's got a spoolie on the one side and then a brush on the other. So, and this is again a very thin brush, and it's perfect for my little tiny brows. If you'd like to see how I put my brows on, keep on watching. I always work from the bottom up. I start by creating the shape that I want. First, by making a line under the bottom of my brow. I'll call this the baseline. And you do small hair-like strokes because that helps to give the illusion of hair. So I angle the brush up and over as I fill in my brow. I have very sparse brows, so this kind of takes me some time. I slowly add more product and work it through my brow, still using the small hair-like strokes. I also blend any lines that are too harsh without blending the lines away. Then I start the front of my brow, again by putting an even fainter line on the bottom by the base line. I also constantly brush my brows up and over to see the shape that I'm creating. So hold the brush with the tip pointed down and create small, very light, short hair-like strokes, dragging the brush upwards. Okay, so I jumped into the tail of my brow. I use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz because it gives a very detailed line, making it easy to draw on my tail. I have almost no hair here, so it's just filling in with hair-like strokes, but I like to create the shape first and then fill it in. I will clean up the edges with concealer later once I'm satisfied. Also, keep in mind that this is what works for my brows. It may not be what you do or what works for you. So I'm not saying that what you do is wrong. I'm not saying what anybody is doing is right or wrong, but this is just how I prefer to do my brows. I'm constantly going over it to fill in any holes and to fix the shape. Now back to the front of the brow. Don't add too much product or you'll end up with a very thick hair-like strokes and it won't look like hair. So stick to making very small, light hair-like strokes with only a little bit of product. If you take your time and you make sure that there's a mirror very close, it will work a lot easier. Make sure that you do the brush strokes upwards so that it mimics the growth of the hair as well. So up and over typically. Also remember that brows probably are not going to look the same. They are sisters and not twins. I'm always brushing just to make sure that my brows stay in place until I have the brow gel put in them. Last, I look for any areas or spots that look bare and fill them in as well. So now you take your cheap spoolie and wet it with water, but don't get it too wet. Then you grab your soap and rub the spoolie into the soap. And lightly brush it through your brows, coating them completely. If it's too wet though, it may move the brow products around, so be careful. But this soap does hold all day. So far, the best hold I've used. So that's one brow down. Now let's recap. You create the shape and fill in with hair-like strokes, blending any harsh lines. Create a faint baseline, then fill in with hair-like strokes dragging upwards. Use a pencil to create the shape of the tail and then fill in the tail completely. Blend any harsh lines, then fill any holes and apply your soap. And you're done. The next step is carving out the brows. I use concealer and a small concealer brush. I apply the concealer to my lid and then dip the brush into it and start carving out the shape following the baseline while cleaning up any mistakes that I have made. Carving out your brows helps to clean things up from any mistakes that you make with powder, and it also helps to make your eyebrows stand out more, as well as highlighting the brow bone. This does take me some time because I am very picky and I need to have everything perfect. And because I use concealer as my eyeshadow primer as well, I will take that small concealer brush and apply the product all over my lid. Next, I'll use a small damp beauty sponge to press the concealer into the skin and to blend out any of the lines. After that, I will add some hydrating setting spray to the sponge to help keep the concealer in place, and I would press that into the skin. But make sure that the sponge isn't too wet or it will move the concealer around. I like to do this because it makes sure that there's absolutely no dry spots and everything applies more evenly. And lastly, I will set my eyes with a loose setting powder or a white or cream eyeshadow. This makes blending eyeshadows a dream. And that's it. That's how I do my brows. I know that it's a lot of steps, but it's what works for me. So that's it for the tutorial. I hope you found it helpful in any way. This is how I put on my brows. It takes me a while sometimes, to be honest. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about any other products that I use, or if you have any ideas of different products that you'd like me to look into, just leave that below. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. If this is on Facebook, share it and let other people see me. Why not? And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, guys. If not,